This morning, I was invited to a protest at National Assembly over the case between Goodluck Akpabio and Natasha Akpoti. I'm very happy to participate in these things, and I'm very happy that I was invited by a friend of mine who is a politician and who is, I think, close to Natasha, and says that Natasha is very smart, intelligent, that she knows her onions. She's very educated, she's very eloquent, she cares about her people from the heart, and she invited me to say, like, let's protest. Like, there was a lot of things that were said when Akpabio called her a club girl. There's a lot of implications to that, and I'm very happy to engage in things like this. If this is like this is there's a lot of people that claim to be feminists in Nigeria, but that these are the times like this that you stand up. It's not just about feminism, it's also about corruption and the abuse of power. This is kind of like sex for grades, like 100 times 10, because this is a man that is heading the office where they are supposed to make laws against this type of sexual abuse, you know. And here they are doing the exact same thing, using the office I was supposed to be used to make laws, to make better the life of Nigerians, to create equality of the sexes at work. He's using this office to satisfy his own whims and caprices. Normally, if they didn't vote him Senate president, he would not be able to stand and talk to somebody like Natasha. But here we are, he was calling her a club girl. That girl is probably more educated, knows her onions. She's probably more intelligent than he is. But look at what he did. He just exposed himself. It seems like they kind of think like all beautiful women belong in the club, and they are in for the taking, and that any man that wants, them should just approach them. This is sex for grades. But now it's happening at the highest office of the country. This office is the third office to the president's office, right? This is a very serious office, and it's not just about women's issues. I think that men that always claiming that they are fighting corruption should stand up in cases like this, because this is a case of someone using a very sacred office to satisfy his whims and caprices, his sexual desires. This is sexual abuse, this is sexual misconduct. And I think that if Godswill Akpabio had any uh on honor in him, he would resign peacefully for this L that he has taken. This is very sad. You mean, okay, what are other people giving to be able to get a stand to speak about the issues that affect Nigerians on the daily? This woman wanted to talk about something that's so crucial to the development of not just Nigeria, but the people of Kogi State, the people of her constituency. But she was shut down because she is a woman. She has to give something. She has to give her body before she can stand to speak. And this is what we have witnessed so many times across the country, concerning gender issues. Like, you see a man who puts himself in a position, and women have to submit their bodies before they are given the opportunity to stand. I mean, like, we cannot thrive, you know, in these kind of conditions. And right now, if it was happening in smaller offices, I probably just speak about it and just overlook it. But this morning, I'm joining this protest. I'm going. I just don't want to be a person who is online complaining about like this type of rights issues. I want to be involved. I want to be proactive. And when she invited me this morning, I'm very happy to participate. Because it's so embarrassing, it's so shameful, and it's sad that because there's so much misogyny and so much internalized misogyny in our culture, that we are not seeing the impact or the disadvantage of treating this lightly. This man is simply abusing his office. These are the people that are supposed to set examples, and set examples, for the other offices. So how are we going to keep continue complaining about sex for grades or sex for movie roles in the movie industries or things like this, if we are going to overlook someone who is supposed to make those laws doing something like this? We cannot overlook it. We have to stand with this woman. I know if you're a man, you think, oh, you might be in the same position one day. If it doesn't benefit you to speak against other men, but you should, if you are a good man at heart, then you should be able to stand up. Sometimes people will say it's not all men that do this. This is when you stand up and say this is not what we are about. We stand for the truth, we stand for fairness, for justice, and we stand for equality. This is when you make a stand, not when we are complaining about like things like this, and then you come online and say this is not all men. No, if you are not speaking about it, then you are a part of it. So this morning, I'm so happy. I'll be going there. to show my displeasure, and I feel like Godswill Akpabio should resign. And his wife, his pick me wife, you are a very silly woman, and I wish that you would see this video and realize that you were standing not with your own gender that has been abused for over centuries, that has been stifled. You didn't stand with your own. You stood with a man. You stood with a perpetrator. You stood with an abuser. And I think you should be ashamed of yourself. And if you have any degrees, just throw it away. You're not wise. You don't have any feminine wisdom. You only follow your whatever it is that you stand to gain, because you gain a lot, being his wife. We understand that, but we know that what you're about is not deep. You're not a woman of essence. You're just a caper. You cape for no reason. I'm very happy. Like, if you're a man and you think, oh, some men are bad, but you are not bad, this is when you take a stand. There comes a time you have to stand up and say something and believe in something enough to stand up to say, no, enough is enough. We do not want this in our culture. It's always been in our culture, but we can stand against it and reject it. Thank you all.